With Stephen and I, it's almost as though we're from the same tribe. It's like we have, it's just a great collaborative relationship. I'm just loving every single second of it. I really am. He's like a sort of a child. He kind of reminds me of, he's like the boy in Cat in the Hat. And he looks a bit like Tintin. And he has this just unstoppable energy and such a profound love for the story, and not only that, but very, very clear idea of how he wants for the story to be told, and is very happy for everybody to be involved in that, you know, sharing ideas and just trying to come up with what's best for the story, what's best for this scene, and trying lots of new things as well, which sometimes doesn't happen if you're doing an adaptation with a screenplay, because sometimes the screenplay has to be very specific and true to the book, which is great, and we do have that, but the room, you know, the room to breathe and the freedom that Stephen has been giving to us is so lovely, and he's really so much fun. David he's actually remarkably similar to his character, Michael. He's a very serious person. I can't really say kid because he's not a kid. You know, he's 17, he's nearly 18, and he's incredibly professional, really beats himself up if he doesn't think he's got something that he wanted to do or didn't feel like he'd tried something that he was planning to try, and he's very sort of sensitive little soul, and he's just so perfect for this part, and he's very willing to try things, and you know, and he has made films before, but not that many so far, and his willingness to be told, you know, here, if you try this, it might help you to feel that, or just, you know, guiding him a little bit into, you know, into certain scenes and into certain emotions in order to, you know, get the results. He really likes to be given that guidance and to be helped, and that's wonderful, you know, and Stephen is just completely just so brilliant with him. But he's been involved for such a long time. I mean, he was telling me that when he first met Stephen for this film, he was 15, and he's going to have his 18th birthday in a couple of weeks' time. So it's just unbelievable. You know, it's so funny to have done this one day with Rafe, because so many people assumed that we already knew each other in that funny kind of way that you do with English actors. You will think, oh, well, didn't you all do theatre together 10 years ago? And no, actually, I don't really know Rafe. I've met him a couple of times socially, just through friends. But well, he's obviously, I mean, he's so brilliant, and so immersed, actually, really immersed in the character and wanting to do absolutely what's right for the character, and yet at the same time be willing to try something different. And I had read the book about, I'm trying to think, about 5 years ago, and I'm a relatively slow reader. I just am, I don't know why. And I read it in a day, which is almost unheard of for me, and I just could not put it down. And at the time, I guess I was maybe 27, and I thought, oh, you know, I wish I was a little bit older, what a wonderful part, and completely considered myself to be, you know, considerably too young. And then it was about a year ago, we're June now, 2008, and it was March 2007, and Stephen got in touch and wanted to sit down and talk to me about it, and I really couldn't believe it. I thought, seriously, for Hannah Schmidt? Wow, my God, aren't I too young? And so we sat down and started talking, and I realised that that maybe I could do it, and you know, I was incredibly nervous. I mean, you know, one's always nervous playing a part that, you know, we have to do a different dialect. I mean, I'm playing a German woman and so on, and you know, the feeling of, my God, can I really do this? You know, hasn't ever really gone away. But I think that's always the case. You know, just wanting to get it right because it's such a special part. But you know, people keep saying, "Oh God, isn't it weird to see yourself older?" And I just think no, it's not really. I mean, I just find it fun, all of that. You know, as I say, I've never had prosthetics before or anything like that, and so it you know, it's a sort of an extra dimension to my job that I've never experienced before now, and you know, and that's the great thing about acting, is that you know, you do get to have these new and different experiences, and yeah, this is a big new experience for me.
You know, I mean, Kate's a fantastic actress. I mean, I'm thrilled that she's playing Hannah, and all her work, all the work that I've seen her do is full and rich, and she's magnificent. I mean, I think at face value, David Cross and I don't have look like each other, but I understand that we might have similar qualities as actors. I can see why Stephen has put us together. I think he's got a great quality anyway, different to mine, whatever that is. But I think as a young actor, he's beautifully pitched for this, for what he's got to do in this. The mark of a good screenplay is often that it seems simple. Scenes seem simple, but actually they contain huge things. And that's, I think, the beauty of this screenplay, is that in a few sentences, David Hare, a few sentences that seem like an ordinary conversation, the undercurrents, the subtext is really, shaking. It's really vibrating with different meanings and layers and what people are saying. The story, I think, deliberately is not generous in asking us to understand Hannah. We're asked to understand Michael's journey, trying to understand Hannah. So what I'm saying is the film asks us to be close to the journey of Michael, and therefore we are, Hannah is the person he interacts with.
I think Stephen was looking for a German boy, and he was looking in Germany, and then maybe he saw the first movie from me, and then I came to had an audition, and my agency actually said, don't go because you're gonna be very, very hopeful, and then it's always with this international things, and then it doesn't work, and then you're very disappointed. But then I heard it's Stephen Dory who was doing the movie, and then I just wanted to try. I was sitting, I thought it was still the audition process, and then I was sitting with Stephen watching a theater, and then he was talking about the movie and something, and then I was asking him, oh, am I playing the part? And then he was saying, oh, by the way, I didn't tell you, yeah, you're doing the part. Actually, it was the first movie where I really learned about preparation and how to prepare a role. And yeah, long time before, I think I spent a lot of time with Stephen, and a lot of time read a lot of books as well. We went to the Jewish Museum in Berlin and went to the bookshop there, and Stephen made a huge shopping with 3 to 5 bags of books, and I had to read them.
Michael Berg is a young 15-year-old boy who lives in this small town. We name it Neustadt, but it could be anywhere. In fact, for Mr. Schlinker in the novel, it's Heidelberg. And it's a young boy who is living with his parents and going to school and being pretty regular in a 1958 context, who gets sick and comes across this lady on the street who helps him home. And then goes to thank her one day, and they start this very passionate love affair. I think she is a very complicated character for him. She's obviously much older, and so obviously she teaches him the art of lovemaking, but also there's a requirement that he reads to her as part of the deal, if you like. Kate Winslet. I had originally asked Kate to do it, and she was busy. And she was always Mr. Schlink's my first choice. And then she couldn't on the dates we were filming. And so, of course, my next instant reaction was to go to my great friend Nicole Kidman and ask her to play it, because I thought Nicole would be also wonderful, which I'm sure she would have been. But then Nick got pregnant, and so I had to withdraw, and I went back to Kate and said, look, I know you were busy beforehand, but how's your schedule? And we could change things around to fit if this would work for you. And it did work for her. And so we shut down and started a process of research and rehearsal, and then started up again with Kate, which was, I feel unbelievably lucky, really, to have Kate, not just in the film, but also in my life. She's an astonishingly wonderful actress, but a great collaborator, a great supporter, not just to myself, but to the other actors, particularly young David Cross. David blossomed, really, throughout the whole shoot. He blossomed into a leading actor, and that's what he is. He's an astonishing young man of incredible variety of gifts to do with sensitivity and openness and warmth and generosity, fierce intelligence, and an emotional life which is rich and runs very deep. So for me, he was definitely a gift from the gods, as a director goes, to have such a delightful, emotionally available and fiercely intelligent young man to play a very complicated part. Mr. Schlink's book is so powerful, it so resonates in so many different areas. I don't think I ever choose material to make into a film because I think it can make a film. I just choose material that I'd like to be with for a long period of time. And obviously in making a film, you're with the material for a long period, so you have to make sure it's something that you really do love and want to explore and can keep exploring and keep relating to. We were very keen to make the film in Germany. It's a German story, it's a very famous German story, it's a very famous German book, and we wanted to do it obviously where it was set. So we decamped to Berlin really for 2 years, and we got together a fantastic German crew and a fantastic body of German actors. There are only 3 English actors in the film. Lena Erlin, who's Swedish, and everybody else is German. So we spent an awful lot of time casting, and I'm thrilled that the company is led by the giants of the German stage and screen, such as Bruno Ganz, who's a living legend in his own country and indeed everywhere, I think, and the lovely David Cross, who was a fantastic discovery.